Join the rest of the world on the 1st of May, just like every year, that were held in Namutumba district at the district headquarters. A number of Ugandans that have been that were recognized for serving the country. Among these was Dr. Pius Bigirimana. He got the Order of the Nile Medal. It is the second biggest in Uganda to look at. So, how has he managed to be this kind of a person? Anyway, how did he end up in civil service? That is what we're going to discuss today. Choice of a career and how to uphold it. Mr. Dr. Bigirimana, you're most welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. As usual, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah.
And it's always good to share our experience, share our knowledge, so that others can benefit.
How did you end up in civil service?
Actually, I'm not in the civil service by accident. It's by design.
Okay.
And why do I say it is by design? When I was very young, I used to admire three people. The first one was a priest. A priest because I would go to church and I find every Sunday the church is full and the priest is preaching. Everybody is attentive. Then I asked myself, what makes this person so special that people have to leave their homes and go and pray? I was told because he is nourishing people, the spiritual nourishment. He is propagating the word of God. And therefore, that's why he is so central to those people who believe in Christianity. That was the first one. The second person I admired the most was a magistrate. Why? Because magistrates would take decisions, and whether you wanted it or not, as long as you are wrong, you are in the wrong.
As long as the magistrate has found you
wrong, guilty, he will sentence you.
Go by what they say.
Whether you have got appointments with your wife or your children or your friends, he will say, sentenced, finished. I said, hey, this must be a very powerful person. Who can sentence you by just stroke of a pen? The third one was the district commissioner. District commissioner, why? Because the DCs commanded a lot of authority and respect from people. We would hear the district commissioner is coming and everybody runs to meet the district commissioner to address the public. So these three people really inspired me
as a child.
As a child.
So how did you work for it as you grew?
Let me tell you how I worked for it. The first attempt was to become a priest. I even went to the seminary.
Hey.
Because I thought I should be this priest. Unfortunately, I did not become a priest.
Why? What went wrong?
The reason is in my book called A Balanced Mentality. There were three major reasons. The first one was that I was talking to a girl, which girl was actually a friend of my sister. And because I was young, I thought that girl is as good as my sister. So one time she comes to St. Mary's College, Rushorosa, and I saw her, and I called her. I told her what my sister had told me to tell her. So the head director at that time was a Muzungu called Father Shindra. He saw me.
With a girl? With
the girl. And by the way, behind the fence, not even together in the fence. And I was in the seminary. That was crime number one.
You talked to a girl?
Who has been coming to our home? Who stays here?
Of course, the rector could not be at your home, so he didn't know.
No, but I explained. But because of those restrictions,
yes.
And me, I didn't know it was a crime to talk to a friend of my sister.
Had you not been briefed as you joined the seminary?
The second one was after lunch. One time after lunch, we were just enjoying the sunshine after lunch, and we were lying down, facing down. That was another crime. That you're not supposed to be a seminarian, and to lie down, facing down would make you become aroused, you know. That was another crime. The third one was that I was drinking. I drank Muramba. That time it was called Muramba. And there is a place called Kakorogoto. That's below Rushoroza. We had given permission to go to town on a Saturday.
Yes.
As usual, we went to do shopping. So as we were going up, we decided to have some drink, Muramba.
Was it alcoholic?
Of course. So, unfortunately, we missed by like 20 minutes to go to the chapel.
And you were late for 20 minutes?
Yes, we found the mass was going on. Now we said, what do we do? So we decided to go to the dormitory and sleep. Father Shindro had seen us. And after service, he comes to check. He said, where is this one? Where is this one? Where is this one? He said, we don't know where they are. But we are sleeping. So he comes to the dormitory, now he finds us. Then he came and he said, you people, what are you doing? He said, we are sick. I said, you are sick, you are smelling Muramba. But anyway, at the end of it, it was a sad crime. So at the end of the day, they said, are you people?
We can't handle you.
You are very difficult. So my father was, I went to get my report, I was crying. Then my father said, why have they chased you? I said, you see, they said I should not have gone to drink. And yet I was coming from town, we were coming really from shopping, they had given us permission. So I thought we could swallow some little Muramba Road. Then is that the only thing that has made you go? I said, yes.
Was Mzee okay with you drinking Muramba in Peacehaven?
Why would he not be okay? At home, I was the one who was actually brewing Tonto.
Okay.
Mwenge Muganda.
I know. Yes.
And I would be the one to test, to check whether the Tonto is ready. If it's not ready, I'll say, my father, and my wife said, thank you very much for chasing out this man. Where would I have got him from? So, when I failed the seminary, the next was magistrate. But then they told me to be a magistrate, you must go and study law. But I did not get the grades for law. So the next one was what? DC now. So I asked, how do I become a DC? They said you have to take this course subject. So I went and did the political science, public administration, 311. When we finished, that time, the Public Service Commission used to come to university to recruit actually from there, interviewing from there.
They would look for you at university? Wow.
We were very few. So they gave us forms to fill, and I filled only one post of Assistant Commission. Wikangaga at that time was the chairman. He said, young man, you should put 3 options. Because if you don't get the first one, you get the second.
There are the alternatives.
I said, sir, with due respect, I want to be a DC. If you can't give me a DC, then I don't want any job in the public service. And he laughed. But they interviewed me anyway. I answered the question. So I was among the 21 people who were recruited as ADCs. So that's how I joined I joined now the public service. And I started in Mbale
as
Assistant District Commissioner. Okay. Then from Mbale, I came back. There was during that time, NRA was really giving a hard time to the government of the day. I escaped because they wanted to kill me. That's a long story for another time. The reason is why they wanted to kill me. I was...
Who wanted to kill you?
The government of the day. I was branded a collaborator. But I don't regret.
Why don't you regret? For having been branded a collaborator?
But you see, the government of which I wanted came in power.
So were you a collaborator anyway?
NRA. That time they were NRA.
That's what I wanted. So yes. You were a collaborator?
There is no question about that.
Let's continue.
And I have no regrets.
Good.
Because the people of this country had suffered. And there was cause to liberate this country. So I come undercover and I ended up in Kampala. Then I was posted to Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs after the takeover. Then I worked in the local government. Then I was posted again, President's office now, this time. 1988, I was in the President's office.
Okay.
And I worked there as an assistant secretary, then principal assistant secretary for 10 years actually. So I was now promoted to under secretary, posted in the Ministry of Education. I worked in education for 5 years. Then I was posted to public service for some 1 year and a half. Then from there I was posted to the Ministry of Health as under secretary. Then from Ministry of Health I was posted to on promotion to permanent secretary in the office of the Prime Minister, where I worked for also 5 years. And you know the wars I had there, which I fought, and everybody fought them.
We shall reach there.
Then from there,
because actually that's where now many of us, especially the media people, now got our cameras to know you.
Yes,
that there is a man called Pius in this country and is the PS OPM.
actually, let me tell you, that was not the beginning of my wars. I started the wars in the Ministry of Health where I was. That time there was a medical doctor whom I caused arrest. Why? Because he had got a vaccine fridge and he had put there beers and sodas in his restaurant. But intelligence told me there is something happening. I sent their people and they took photographs, they even took him, took his restaurant and arrested him and charged him.
He was using a fridge meant
for vaccines, and I couldn't tolerate that.
To cool beer.
To cool beer. Then we even had other arrests in Chikubu here, in West Nile. People were stealing government drugs and selling them to Congo. So it's not the first time I have been at war front. No. Yes, even in public service where I was. It's not that I was not a PS that time.
Yeah.
But this issue of ghosts on pensions, that's how we introduced the network to have everybody on the system.
So you became PS starting with OPM.
Yes.
How did it treat you? Because this is a very big now government agency, not just a ministry, but supervisor of almost all ministries, the office of the Prime Minister. From an under secretary in a different ministry, now being promoted to be office, PS, office of the Prime Minister. First of all, how did you go head on with this bigger responsibility that you were assigned to?
I think I had what it takes to do that. And this can be demonstrated from how I approached issues from the word go. When I reached there, the first thing I introduced was to have every Monday senior management meeting so that we are all on the same page. 2, I introduced transparency in financial management. Actually, that is why I even discovering what was happening in accounts. That was the beginning, because every item, every coin was supposed to be declared. So, little do we know that actually before I went there, there is somebody, whom I don't want to mention his name, whom you know, had been given rights as an accounting officer in 2007.
Where does he stay now?
In the University of Rehabilitation.
Okay.
So he had been given authority of the accounting officer in 2007. If you have read my book called Corruption, A Tale of Wolves in Sheep's Clothing, you will see the snapshot of an integrated financial management system tracing this authority in 2007, before I even went there. But somehow, the managers of that office of the Prime Minister at that time, they did not discover it. Or they knew, maybe they didn't bother to follow it up. So when I saw the anomalies, I smelled a lot. I saw that there was something wrong. But to have concrete evidence was after the fact. Because when they went to do some investigation, that's how they traced that these rights, he had not got them in 2009 when I reached there. He had got them before.
Who had given him the rights?
Now, rights on a system are given by systems administrators. Like you can have a WhatsApp group. Yes. Somebody who is administering that WhatsApp group He's the one who gives you. He can remove you, he can put you.
Okay.
So even this one, the people in the treasury had responsibility of giving rights. From Prime Minister's office, then I was posted to gender.
Yes.
I worked there from 2013 to 2019.
Yes.
Then from 2019, I was posted here, judiciary, where I am up to now.
Okay.
So that's my history.
About the man, Pius Bigirimana, the man that has served in these offices, when you look at him, you yourself, what do you think is so unique about him that has enabled him to serve in all these places and probably wind up or get out successful? About the man, Pius Bigirimana, the man that has served in these offices, when you look at him, you yourself, what do you think is so unique about him that has enabled him to serve in all these places and probably wind up or get out successful?
Now, this man,
Yes.
is a man who has got focus. Focus. To have lenses that see opportunities in this country. And those opportunities are available. It is only that people don't see them. They have got some binoculars which are not well tuned. This is a man who serves with integrity. Let me tell you, the former president of America called Kennedy in 1961, he was addressing a convention in Massachusetts, and he says that in whatever we do, we must always be mindful of the following questions, which will be asked when you die, that the court of history will judge you on 4 counts. And that thing has been driving me on top of what my conviction was. And these are the 4 questions. And for young men there, and not only younger men, even younger women,
Yes.
but even elders who are there, if they don't know, these 4 questions are as follows. That when you were living, were you a man of integrity? And integrity is not an event. Integrity is a process. Integrity must be seen when you are at the university. In fact, even before the university, at the university, you finish, you start working. Are you a person who is upright? Do you conduct your business with honesty? That's question number 1. Question number 2, were you a man of judgment? Judgment is discerning wrong from right. If you want to do something, always ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? Be it at home, be it in the office, be it in the community, am I doing the right thing? Question number 3, were you a man of dedication? Working with no reservation. Well knowing that today and tomorrow is important for the future of the country. Leaving no work pending in the office where it is inevitable.
Yes.
You know, the problems we have in this country many times, we find the people doing work. They don't care whether they finish the work or not, forgetting that
impact.
Somebody there is waiting for the service. Yeah. Forgetting that Michael is seated outside and he wants a decision taken so that he can go and do his work. Being efficient is different from being effective. Being efficient is doing things right. Being effective is doing the right things. Let me elaborate this.
Briefly.
If I told you, Mike, can you drive and go to Entebbe to do ABCD? Then you start your vehicle and you drive. You are on Ojinja Road. You are in Nakawa. You are in Guyogiri. You are being efficient.
That is Ginger Road, actually, not Entebbe.
So you are not being effective. At the end of the day, I told you to do some, to go and get something. You are not going to get it anyway. From Entebbe, not change. So many times we find people doing the right things. I mean, doing things right, but not the right things. The first question is, when you arrive, were you a man of courage? Mike, if I was not courageous, what I did in the Prime Minister's office not have been done. Why? Because people fear to take decisions. People fear to commit themselves. And yet, in these offices where we sit, there are so many challenges. If you are a coward and you don't take decisions, you are denying an opportunity to somebody to prosper. Fear, courage is not the absence of fear. No.
Somebody can be fearful and courageous as well.
No. Courage is the mastery of fear. You understand what I mean?
Explain a little.
Have you ever seen soldiers going to the front line? Do you know they go singing, morale boosting them? It is to manage fear.
I've seen troops being flagged off to go to Somalia. They enter the plane singing.
Now, that is partly to make sure that they minimize the fear. Of course,
because they are already scared.
So a bullet will get you anytime.
Yes.
So, but to minimize that, you want to boost them so they even enjoy the whole exercise. Have you ever seen Bajisu?
Yes. They dance Kadodi for almost a whole week.
Do you know why? Partly it's to initiate them into their culture, but also partly is to remove the fear from them to be cut.
According to the American President Jeff Kennedy, he's talking about integrity, courage, dedication, and there is a fourth one, judgment. To you, that's what makes Pius Bigirimana.
They have been driving me.
Those are the determinants of how far he has come in his service to even be recognized nationally.
Not only that.
This is my question to you. We have a belief that people in offices like yours, it's because they know so and so, it's because they are connected to so and so. That's how they end up in offices like this. Bigirimana has no connection to that totally.
Let me tell you, I have no godfather. I came from Kisoro barefooted. A barefooted, you read my book about balance mentality. A barefooted boy from Kisoro. I had no uncle in Kampala. I had no sister. I had no brother. I was alone.
You came as Pius.
Pius Bigirimana with God just guiding me. And I told you my ambition was to be what? A DC. And I became a DC. And I was very happy. Actually, I started work on Assistance Commission. And there's a man called Mudanga in Mbari. He used to pass by my office. And he would ask me, you young man, every day, by 8 you are in the office. What motivates you to be in the office by 8? I told him that I enjoy my job. Because I wanted to be DC and I'm DC. I can assure you, I have never come to the office after 8.
Even up to now?
I respect time. That's why I don't want you, Michael. When I tell you 11, it's 11. If you come 11:10, you will find me on another topic.
As we are taking a short break. When we return, we are going to look into a brief of what Uganda's civil service is, in your view. To you watching, if you are a young man looking at a career, we are talking to the right person to give you the best guidance. So find that cup of tea, keep it with us.
Jerry Con! Jerry Con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Buy Jerry Con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava! Best movies I teach you. When I'm going to the Muscari, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? It's serious, you. What? Eh? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get. Show him that they don't joke with you.
Service that had a lot of discipline.
Really?
Oh yes. The civil service of that time?
Yes.
To join the service was a great honor. It was a recognition. Actually, they would scout for the best at the university through the heads of department to identify young men and women who can join the civil service, either in foreign affairs or in immigration.
In any ministry?
Yes.
They would take the cream.
The cream. So I'm proud that I was one of those that were taken. And for me, I wanted to be DC. Now, over time, there has been the degeneration of morals. People chasing lines. People becoming clever. People looking at the service as a place to derive, to benefit by getting corrupt. This disease was not as it is now. Then the entitlement. You see people coming to the service and they think that the government has got a duty, has got an obligation, the entitlement. They want to force government to its knees. That's not the service I joined. By the way, do you know that when I joined the service, we even had, there were still poor houses. That policy of taking the houses from top, really was not a very good decision. Because if you look at a district, a chief magistrate had a house. But now chief magistrate is renting a house in slums.
In fact, we are spending on them to ensure that they get housing.
I think the idea of having institutional houses, at least to start with those top, is important. So that you can know where to have these for us. So slowly, there were reforms that were proposed. We had a civil service had started to become negative. The approach towards work became poor. And you see a civil service that has degenerated over time.
What do you think explains that when we have senior men like you who crossed over from where it was good and crossed the bridge to where now it is degenerating? Are you not doing the right thing with the young people under you?
There are a number of factors. A number of these factors I have put them in my book, which I wrote recently, called Unchained, a public servant with a private sector mindset. And I wrote that book to put the record correct, so that future generation can see where we went wrong. Now, starting from recruitment. Recruitment has got challenges. The recruitment instrument, getting the right people in the right places at the right time. Many times.
How is that a problem?
It's a big problem.
At a time that has even digital platforms, what is wrong with you? Okay, not you actually, you're not part of the Public Service Commission. Whoever recruits people in the system, what is wrong with doing it like it used to be done to get the cream of de la cream to be the system?
There are a number of factors that contribute to this. One of them is influence, meddling into the recruitment process. The Public Service Commission, the Judicial Service Commission, the Health Service Commission,
Education Service Commission.
These people many times are coerced to do a proper performance assessment. So you find that many people are going through the system, reach top where they don't know what to do. Now let me tell you, I have in this book mentioned 5 major areas that I think are a problem in public service. One is leadership. Leadership anywhere, even at home. Yes. Leadership is important. Even in an office, in a market, anyway, there must be proper leadership. Why? Because leadership is important for inspiration. If you've got a good leader, he will inspire you. If you got a good leader, he will influence you. If you got a good leader, leadership is about teamwork. Leadership is about mentoring. Leadership is about coaching. You understand? Yes. So leadership, number one, matters a lot. And in many cases, you have had a bit of hazy leaders. Number two is the conceptual clarity. Mike Lukoma, yes. Let me explain this. Conceptual clarity is the deeper understanding of the position you hold. You are recruited as
a newsreader. Okay. I decided in my field.
Okay, a newsreader. Do you understand you are supposed to be a newsreader? You are recruited as a minister even. or as a permanent secretary, do you understand the business you are in? If you are a minister, you should behave like a minister. You should do what ministers are supposed to do. If you are a PS, you are supposed to be a leader with forecasting, giving a planning platform for your institution. If you are a commissioner, you must know what to do. There's a conceptual deficiency. People
in the system currently.
People don't understand. Many, maybe not everybody, but many don't understand the business they are in. Number two is what I call abundance mentality. Abundance mentality is the positive mind. When you are in an office like this one, do you have a positive mind? People think that things are not possible because there's no money. I don't want to agree with that. First of all, liberate your mind. Don't submit yourself to failure or resignation in mind. The moment you think things are not possible, you have failed before you start. You must have that positive mind. You know, money is secondary. It is your attitude towards work. Recently, let me tell you, I was in Koboko, and I found one of the verandas of the court had cracks. And I think the birds had defecated their tomato seeds. And you know the tomatoes were growing on the
Through the cement.
Through the cement. Now I asked the fellow who was there, I said, you are crying there's no money. Why have you turned this one into a garden? A veranda turned into a garden. I told him to remove those tomatoes. I even have the photos, by the way. I took a video. First of all, the veranda to crack to that level of having plants. Why has it taken all that long? Then as I was walking, there was some cobwebs in his office. Do you need foreign exchange to remove those cobwebs? Do you need money to remove them? It's just attitude. So the abundance mentality is very important. Because if you have got a positive mind, you will even use the little resources that are with you to deliver. But to do that, you must understand the business you are in. Do you have a proper work plan? The work plan, do they have proper outputs? These outputs, do they have activities? These activities, are they time framed, time bound? So do you have the corresponding resources? Yes or no? So if you don't have corresponding resources, use what you have for what you are supposed to do. Then you can say, I don't have money to do this, but I did this because of the little money I have. So this question of resigning, saying, you know, we don't have money, I don't buy it.
So what do you
start?
Okay.
The
fourth actually.
The fourth is mandate migration. What I call mandate migration is people leaving what they are supposed to do best and go and do what they are not supposed to do. Actually, what they are not qualified in. And then there is institutional decay because you have left what you are supposed to do, it has suffered. You are going where you have no competence, it's suffering. So all of these combined with what I have told you has made the public service what it is. In fact, this book I have written, I'm still thinking of how I can even improve it to a PhD level. The reforms that have taken place in this country, there was reform number 1, the reform number 2, the reform number 3. The question is, why those not reforms working? There is a missing link which I'm looking for.
You have looked at the problem. With your seniority, you can identify the problems. What do you think can be the solution? And how has the system taken advantage of people like you that have been around in the system and can actually point at where the problems stand?
Mike, you can talk and talk and talk and talk. When people are not receptive, what do you do? I can, that's why I ended up putting everything in this book. I haven't made recommendations here. So I don't just cry only, I don't cry. I cry and make my cry felt. So I have decided to have it recorded here so that even when I'm no longer alive, people will say, yeah, Jogera, the man said it. I have identified where the problems are. I have isolated them, I have even unpacked them, and I have given what we call SOPs, like in this COVID.
Standard operating procedures.
That if you don't masks, hand wash, sanitize, I have said, this is the sanitization, this is the hand washing, this is in the public service. If you don't do it, the future generation will judge us harshly.
It is you, technical people in ministries and agencies, that are blamed for corruption and all that. Let us mainly focus on corruption. What do you think gives birth to corruption in your system where you have been throughout?
By the corruption is a very dangerous vice. And if it's not fought, we're going to have trouble. There's no question about that.
At this rate, do you think we can fight corruption and end it?
We can fight it if we are all determined. You see, the problem is you fight alone and others. When I exposed this corruption in the office of the Prime Minister, do you know what people were saying? Some of them, they were saying, he's stupid. Is it his mother's money? Now, you can imagine the parliamentarians who should have helped me, just put me on the cross.
Actually, they ended up implicating you yourself.
I became the target. Why? Because these fellows who were corrupt had corrupted them. The CID, which I called myself, you know, I am the one who invited the CID to do investigation. Do you know I'm the one who invited the Auditor General? They said
you disagreed on how to share.
They are entitled to do that. But the truth of the matter, I'm the one who called the Auditor General to carry out a forensic audit. I'm the one who invited the CID to help us, because you see,
find out more.
To find out more on the system. What is happening? I see some funny games going on, but I don't know where it's coming from. Why would I be involved? And then I call people to do forensic audit on myself. It defeats everybody thinking. How? Why would I not eat and be like this and
be happy and go home?
But I had to declare war. Now, when I declared war, the CIDs who were supposed to help me, I think it reached somewhere. I don't want to mention names. I think they got compromised. They turned guns against me now. I said, I'm going to fight this war. Single-handedly, even if it means so. But I was very happy.
Where did you get the courage? Because people in this country will tell you, I cannot dare thieves.
No.
They not only have the money, but they have the courage to do anything.
Yes, but do you know why?
What gave you the courage?
Let me tell you, it is the original thinking which I told you when I started the service. That original inner in me, that I have got a duty, I've got a job to deliver service to the people of Uganda. I was convinced that what I was doing was right. Now, and because I knew I had no secretary, there were no bodies behind me. Because I knew there was nothing to stop me, I had to go head on. Actually, one of the officers in internal security, whom I will not mention, said, "You man, and you taking on something very big. That fellow is connected in security, in what?" I said, whatever it is. So when I took a decision, I did not consult anybody. I took a decision because I was convinced this is the right thing to do. And I said, even if it means standing alone, let it be.
I'm ready.
And I stood alone, except the president, I think, was following what was happening. He came to my side. He told me, he said, be firm. They'll bring you down, but be firm. The president, I always salute him until I am going, until at the grave. Even in the grave, I salute him.
He will not be seeing you.
No, even if he doesn't see me, but the spirit will show him that this man is saluting in the grave.
Now, for him, he believes problem, according to how he says it, like 70% is within the civil service. You said we can fight it. That's your belief. You tell him what to do.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
First of all, we've got what we call strategic plans. Okay? These strategic plans have got clear outputs. These outputs have got time frames.
Yes.
And these outputs have got financial implications. Let me give an example. This Twin Tower. the time frame is 3 years. When did we start? 2019 we got a contractor. 2020 in May we were scooping the. Forget about the COVID. COVID came in, it disorganized us a bit. But I told the contractor, I said, these people must stay on site. Yeah. We have to get.
After all, even in the lockdown, they were asked to continue with their work.
So we had to get moving. May 2023, which is today. Where are we? We're almost done. Yeah. That's what I call time frame. Time frame. Are you living within the time frame? Yes, people can say, but it's because they give you money. Hey, yes, but they give you money for the purpose it was intended. Check. Every time they are supervising, auditing, trying to find out how far we have gone. I have even told everybody who is interested, including IGG, come and see. Minister of Finance, come and see. So and so, come and see. And we are moving on. But it's not only this. Even there are others that we have done, which we can be proud about. So that's the starting point. If they give you money to buy mabati for Karamoja, yes. The question is, have you bought the mabati for Karamoja? Have they gone to where they are supposed to go? Okay? If they give you money to build a school, and the money is this amount, is the school there?
Sometimes it's there, but with cracks in 3 months.
Thank you. So, who is responsible for the cracks? Is there a crack of wax? Is there a project manager? These are simple things. And if somebody is asking...
So, do we lack a unit to follow up those bits?
It is a lack of people who are supervising the people responsible. Okay. I am a PS here. Somebody doesn't do what he's supposed to be done. He's in trouble with me. You ask anybody here, they will tell you. I give you money for a purpose, and you don't account for it, you're in trouble with me. All of this stems from us in the leadership. I told you the first problem is leadership. Are you responsible?
When you had just come here, I read, my friend was in court, they had filed a lot of cases against you, and only to follow up that you had changed some payments for judges and for who?
Yes. Yes.
Why were you changing people's payments?
No, let me
they were taking you to jail.
No, let me tell you.
Would you manage to win lawyers in court?
Michael.
Yes.
When they took me to court, let me give you this as an example. They took me to court. Why? Because I had stopped illegal allowances which they were paying themselves. I told them I am not. They said, but your predecessor was doing it. I said, my predecessor is not me. If he did it, I cannot continue with an illegal thing. So they took me to court. So I told them, if you take me to court, High Court, and you defeat me.
Because they were the judges themselves, actually.
It's okay. I'll go to the Court of Appeal. If the Court of Appeal...
You meet their colleagues there?
They defeat me. I'll go to the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court rules in favor of you, I will go to the public court. I have losing interest in the court. I go to the public court and mobilize the public.
So where did the case end?
They eventually had to withdraw the case.
And you agreed out of court?
I said, if I am your PS and accounting officer, you will not force me to do wrong things. I am cognizant of Article 164 of the Constitution. Do you know what it says? Article 164 of the Constitution mandates me to manage the resources of the institution I'm in. And I'm answerable to Parliament.
As an individual?
As an individual. In fact, the Public Finance Management Act makes it even more clearer. It unpacks that one. It says you will be personally accountable to Parliament. In other words, if you take a decision which is inconsistent with the Treasury instructions, you will be personally dragged. So how can I pay allowances which are illegal and hand over myself to the police to take me to court? I said, over my dead body. So they said, Mr. I think let's leave him. So they left me. So we started now on a peaceful...
The public court that you're talking about is somehow not happy. These people are retiring with a lot of packages.
Michael, don't ask me that question, because that was passed by the public. The public meaning members of Parliament passed it. They represent the public. So for me, I pay them because it is legal. It's within the law.
What happened between you and Justice Chisache?
That's another thing.
Yes.
I have told you, under the Public Finance Management Act, I'm the accounting officer. That's section 45, which dictates to me what I'm supposed to do. The accounting officer shall, not will, shall is mandatory.
Yes.
Direct, control, and ensure proper usage of resources.
Good.
If you spend money without value, you will be asked to answer. So my disagreements with Chisache was because I had got information that she was not working. Now, why should I pay somebody who is not working? But when we further dug deep to see what was happening, it emerged that I think there were some other issues to be handled. So they are being handled. So I told I reinstated her salary pending those issues that are being handled.
There was belief that she was being fought on political grounds.
Being fought on political grounds, I don't have anything. I don't know. So because for me it was because of salary, paying for somebody who's not working. I have nothing to do with politics. First of all, I'm not her supervisor.
Okay.
I don't supervise her. My duty is to pay for work done. If you don't do work, then you should not be paid. Now, let me tell you this. I think maybe I'm going even to make a proposal that we should start prosecuting people who come to office and leave the courts. Why? Because how do I leave my home to come to office and I put a court and go away? Now, I'm supposed to be paid for 8 hours and during the day.
Free with it.
Now, I work for only 3 hours. The other 5 hours I have gone away. What is the difference between you, who has squandered the time, and another one who steals an allowance from about? You are the same.
But we have so many stories that we gather from your courts where they have been taken back to Luzira because the judge did not come.
Now,
So many times.
that is why there should be an investigation to find out where this judge was. You will never know. The judge might have been sick. He might have been in hospital.
In your journey, which area is most memorable, especially as a PS?
Let me tell you, it's everywhere. And I'm saying everywhere because of these reasons. In the judiciary here, I can tell you with a lot of satisfaction that we have implemented many of the programs which we set ourselves to do. And by the way, I want to correct this impression. I don't work alone.
Okay.
I work with others. But as I told you, leadership matters. I have succeeded in many of these areas because I have given a sense of direction. I have disagreed with the people, but at the end of the day, they have come to understand that I mean well to them. Don't think that these 20 towers were not on the paper. When I came here, there were drawings here. I'm not the one who started drawings.
Okay.
No, I found them here. For 10 years, they had been thinking about building the 20 towers, but they had not. So for me, I became a catalyst and started the procurement process and mobilized resources. And here we are.
How do you mobilize resources?
By being very, you make a case. You make a case, you convince people that you need it.
What is the magic with you?
The magic with me, there's no magic. It is just making a case, demonstrate that actually you mean what you are saying. And what I told you, integrity, the track record.
Okay.
When you have got, like if I came to borrow money from you and I pay you on time, I come back and borrow, I pay you. Then I have made a very good record.
Yes.
So even if I came to you, you will say, Musaja muwe sent. Musaja wasasura. Musaja wasasura. Building confidence and trust in you. When we lose the confidence, that's where you find that if I give you money, I don't account for it. How do I get motivated to give you more money?
I would love to thank you so much. As we wind up, I want a message from you to your fellow colleagues in the civil service, especially at junior levels, and your fellow seniors, because we are facing trouble in different sectors, probably because of them, as one that the country is even recognizing. what would be your message to them?
The message is very simple. I think throughout the time of your discussion with me, I have told you that people must have integrity. Let people be known for their uprightness. I'm telling you, people must get saved. Okurokoka, do you know okurokoka? People must be...
In that context, you will explain.
People must know that they hold offices in public trust. This is not my office. If people can have that in their heads, that this office you are in by luck, no, not luck, it's a privilege to be in this office. The moment you know you are in the office as a privilege, then you should know there are so many Ugandans who can become PSs. So why don't you deliver service to the people as it should be? Why don't you deliver service with integrity? Just one small example. Recently I was arguing, Minister of Finance, Judiciary has got the commercial division. Commercial division, we have got about 83 trillion shillings locked up there. In cases to do with the trade, to do with the construction, to do with the banking, to do with the insurance, to do with all sorts of things. It's tied there. Why? Because we cannot have them churned out.
Why?
Because we don't have sufficient judges.
We already, as a country, we have 80 trillion somewhere.
Somewhere.
We have the whole budget and some balance.
But even if not all of it came, because some of it belongs to outsiders who might take their money away. But even if it was released in the treasury, in the system, then Minister of Finance would have a wide tax base to collect the revenue and finance our budget instead of going to borrow money. Do you see what I'm talking about?
100% right.
Now, the donors are threatening you. We are not going to give you money. But I'm saying that you can have this money through taxation and collect the revenue if the tax base is out. And how do you make the tax base? Doing what I've told you. That is only commercial division. How about land? Where the investors even find it uncomfortable to invest. Because the cases are not being sorted out. You get my point? Yes. So, let's look at things more holistically with positive mind. So integrity is key.
Thank you so much. His name is Dr. Pius Bigirimana. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Davis Kamoham and the whole team. We wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Do you hear it? Do you see it?
In Uganda, Tanzania.
That's the sound of business in a developing economy.
For UBC News,
Charlotte Amuge in Kampala.
Catch the weekly business roundup every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. only on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
The stage is a world of entertainment.